Hello everybody to another video. Today I'm going to be going over how socketing works in Wizard 101. Socketing is a big part of the game that, especially in the higher levels, that will boost your stats tremendously and in a lot of cases are crucial to actually have some of the better stats within the game. So to kind of just serve as a bit of an overview, there's two main guides to sockets. There are jewels, which you see on Athanes, wands, amulets, rings, pets, technically, and decks and pins, which you see on the clothing pieces of gear. And pins are available once you hit level 160, as of right now, when you get the Novus gear. So these can be used to boost just about every stat in the game, and they are incredibly helpful with progression. So this video is going to be split into two main parts. Jewels is going to be the first bit, and pins are going to be the second. And I'll just try to give a basic overview of how everything works. Now, I made a slideshow accompaniment. It's not how you pronounce a slideshow companion of sorts, I guess, to this video that you can pull up anytime without needing to pull up and hear my stupid voice. For you to look at, serve as a visual aid, I hope so, and you'll find the link to that within the description. And then also, if you have any further questions, join the Discord, ask. We have a guides channel. You can ask within the thread, or you can just ask wherever. We'll be sure to try and help you wherever you need it. So, without a further ado, let's get into jewels. So, jewels have four types of sockets. The first of these are tier sockets, so you don't see them there. So you'll see it here on my ring. Okay, it looks kind of like a tier, and these boost health, mana, and your Arc Mastery rating. So as you can see, I have some health jewels here as well, but I'm currently using them for Arc Mastery on my Wallaby ring. These are really nice because, as you can see, at higher levels, 143 health, which is pretty good. But so that's what tier jewels do. Square jewels are used for defensive stats, so health at max level, but generally at lower levels, crit block, flat resistance, stuff like that. Your defensive stats. Circle sockets are the inverse of that, your offensive stats. So pierce, flat damage, crit, and at max level they can give you actual damage percentage, like you see fixed somewhere. I have it on something on some piece of gear. I have it on a deck actually. Um, Not that one. What the deck? This one. So like 11 death damage. So that type of gear that boosts your offensive stats, damage, and pierce. And then finally, you have triangle sockets, which are typically used for utility stats like accuracy, pip chance, um, spell cards. So stuff like, it gives you an item card Windstorm. I have a deck that gives me an item card Wildfire I use for my Fire Jade set for raids. Stuff like that. Utilities, that's what you're going to be getting from your triangle sockets. So like, I mean, again here, this is my rate of fame, fire accuracy. So that's what each socket does. So jewels need to be unlocked in order for you to use. So, for example, you have this. This is a Deadly Nightmare ring. As you can see, some of these sockets are locked. Now, these sockets cost gold. I mean, not gold, crowns to unlock, or you can use a socket wrench. Now, I do have them pulled up for you. Not pulled up for you, but if you are curious, hold on, I need to get it set up. Okay, there we go. I forgot to put Opera into OBS. But as you can see here, this is kind of what you need. This is straight from the guide. Socket unlocking. So you'll have from level 15 to level 30, you need 45 crowns or a novice socket wrench. For level 35 to 54, it's depths or 45 crowns. 55 74 experts or 75 crowns. 75 94 masters are 150. 95 to 114 artisans are 150. And 115 plus, you need a grandmaster socket wrench or 200 crowns. Or, as you see here, you would need a legendary socket wrench. So that's how it works, pretty much. So, how do you fix a jewel? So, the way that jewels work is that you can only put a jewel onto a piece of gear once. And I'm going to show you an example of that on a piece of gear with a tier sock. Actually, maybe a square. Do I have a square I don't want? Yeah, I do. So as you can see, I have a health jewel on this amulet, but I also have a square jewel. Let's say I wanted to put a universal crit block jewel, or actually let's say a balanced flat resist jewel onto the square socket. Right? So in this case, I would hit affix. Once the jewel is fixed, must be shattered and be removed from socket. Hit yes, and boom. And so now I have plus 15 flat resist on this amulet. Now let's say I want to put this jewel on it. Well, I don't have an empty socket. So what I have to do is I have to click on this socket and click shatter. It permanently destroys the jewel. So that's the thing. You need to be conservative with your jewels. So a lot of people you'll see won't affix their major jewels, like their pierce jewels, which are a bit harder to get. You can say they're kind of a pain in the ass to farm from, or you have to craft them at max level. They'll save those for their meta gear that they're going to be using for a long time. So if I shatter, it's destroyed, it's gone. So some jewels do require a certain level to use. So, like you see here, you need to be level 145 in order to use this socket. If you're under that, you cannot use it. And then two kind of quick notes though with jewels. First, if you have a piece of gear that you have jewels on, you cannot put it in your shared bank. So, see, Deadly Nightmare Thane, item has jewels, can't move it in. Another thing about jewels, and I don't have an example here, but some jewels, specifically jewels you get from um, gift cards or some special jewels, will have the no shatter tag. Typically, these are pet jewels. And what you will see is that when you shatter them, it just gets removed and put back into your inventory, so you don't actually lose the jewel permanently. You can put it on another piece of gear, but only jewels with the no shatter tag specifically will do that. So the jewels, like I just showed you, won't let you do that. So at the end of the day, what jewels should I socket? So me personally, and I'll pull this up here over my browser. So me personally, I typically tend to try and put pierce then flat damage as my circle jewels. For tiers, dedicate one spot to arc mastery and the rest health. And this is just as you're questing. For square, devote it to your defense resist to the three high DPP schools: Storm, Fire, and Myth. And then triangle, get your accuracy maxed out for your school first, and then devote it to pips. However, at max level, it obviously is different because of the meta gear. So typically, circle jewels give damage by percent like gear. Balance them with pierce jewels. Now, because of the way that PvE stat caps work in standard mode, Storm, you're probably going to want to run more pierce. Other schools are going to want more damage. Square jewels give health and outgoing healing. Unless you're on a healing setup, just put them all on health. Triangle jewels should be devoted to first max out your main school accuracy, second max out your power pip, and then finally your off school accuracy. And your tealer jewels, because you get so much health from the square jewels, devote all of those to Arc Mastery. So, for example, the gear I'm running, I have a square jewel on the Macabre Aeon Sword, or the Death Wand that you use at max, 650 health. The Wallaroo of Fame, 2 Pierce Jewels, Arc Mastery, 650 health jewel. Keep in mind, I'm probably running too much Pierce. I can probably drop a Pierce Jewel for damage. I'm just kind of lazy. Feldream Stalker Amulet, running health, and then running Storm Accuracy because I off-school Storm. Ring, 15 Arc Mastery, Pierce, 650 health. And then deck, I think both of them I'm running 11 damage on. And you end up with 219. I'm ending up with 219 damage because I'm using Quad Mighty Death Pet. But you get a lot of damage. And then, as you can see, I have max accuracy on Death, but I also have accuracy on Storm. So overall, that's kind of what you're running, and that's really good. And yeah, so that's jewel sockets. So pins. Pins were introduced with with Novus. And you see them starting, they might be on the level 160, like Bizarre Gear, but you really see them starting with the Novus World Gear. The Eon sets. And what pins do is they give you stats in a school that's not your own. So as you can see, let me show you my actual hat. As you can see, these are Death School only pins, but a lot of these pins are stuff that are school disabled. So it's not showing them the tags, but like a balance can't use these. But you will never be able to get a death damage pin as a death wizard, for example. So as you can see, here are my sword pins, which do damage, and none of them, I get one every school but death. These pins are basically meant to get you to off school. With these, you can get a lot of off school damage. As you can see, I'm getting some damage from my pet, obviously, and my gear, but I mean, the pins are just freaking crazy. And gets me up to 157 damage. So I kid you not, running like my main meta gear, I have Dark Moor Storm damage. It's kind of busted. So that's basically what pins. And there's 3 main types of pins. So there are shield pins, which give you resist to a certain score. You have sword pins, which or I think they're just called sword pins. They give you damage, pierce, crit, your offensive stats, and then finally power pins. I don't actually have any, but they give you. I have one on my robe, I think. Yeah, they give you utility stats. So specifically, right now, pip conserve and accuracy. As you can see, I'm using it. And also, it has the storm wizards cannot use tab. So that's basically what pins kind of do. Now pins are different than from jewels in a few different ways. First of all, you always unlock with all of the pins. Unlocked. So you can see Burrower's hat, it's unlocked. Cabre hat, it is. You don't ever need to. Same with these or these. Like I've got no business to unlock these. I can't even use 2 balanced robes, and they're always unlocked. So you never have to use a socket wrench on a pin. Pins also can be used to can be unsocketed, like legitimately unsocketed. So like, I have this Storm Resist pin, which is for level 160, gives me 12 resist. I can unsocket it, and it just returns it to my inventory. Then I get bitched at because my thing's full. But yeah, and you can just refix it. It goes back into your inventory. It doesn't it doesn't get removed. You don't have to shatter it. Currently they only drop from bosses or crafted from bosses in Wallaroo Novus, and you can't buy them from anybody as far as I know. Like the jewel guy here, So that's something that needs to be kept in mind. But yeah, they're currently only available as boss drops. But this could definitely change in the future and will likely change in future worlds when Arc 5 comes out. So, pin wise, what pins should you use? So, if you're running like a healing set and you have some pins to socket, and you're not a life wizard, obviously, you might want to run some life crit pins. So, it's just to get that crit for crit heals. Obviously makes sense. Um, but generally speaking, you're going to want to run whatever your off school is. Now, some schools have better off schools than others. A lot of it kind of depends what wand you're running, I think. But for standard PVE, put PvP on the guide. Whoops. But for standard PVE, I just run off school storm. So I mean, yes, part of it is I get damage from wand, but I run these pins. I kind of try to damage by about my damage and pierce. And so as you can see here, I'm running a storm resist pin. I just run storm resist pins. I mean, if you have the um, willingness and the dedication to run resist pins for every school and then ward to whatever boss you're facing, go right ahead. You're crazy, but go right ahead. Um, so I just typically run Storm. Storm does most damage. And then I run Pierce and damage. On my robe, I run Pierce and crit with the accuracy. Run the accuracy for what school you're off schooling. And then for boots, running the same. I have a Sun Hip Conserve one just because I already have max Storm accuracy. You don't need to run it. You can run Storm accuracy. If you want to get accuracy in another school, you can run it on that too. That doesn't really matter at all. And then, I'm running damage crit again. And so overall, I have 157 storm damage, 62 storm resist, 50 flat, 23 storm accuracy, 543 storm crit, and 12 pierce. So that's what I'm running. Run whatever you want. There are some for like more advanced combats. Um, you can run death. I know like a lot of deaths um, off school myth or cosplay and use myth hits for certain dungeons, stuff like that. It just depends what school you want to off school into and use primarily. That's the type of pins that you're going to want to use at the end of the day. So that's pretty much it. So yeah. Again, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe if you want more of these guides. I'll be making a lot of these in the future. As always, guides slideshow will be in the description below. And if you have questions, if you want to talk, join some of the PvP stuff I do every now and then. Join the Discord. Trying to get a nice little community going there. And yeah. Thank you all once again for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Love you all, and goodbye.